Zelda has my bell. People of YouTube, today we are once again reading the Poetic Edda, Jackson Crawford's translation. I know we're missing the bell. My daughter has it. I apologize. Where are we? And we are reading, if you're in the paperback version that you can get on Amazon, we are on page 266, reading the Guðrúnarkviða. 1. The Poem of Guðrún. And for everyone else, normally we take turns reading in some form or fashion. I can read it all by myself. I prefer not to, but I can, and I will. If you want to read, just kind of jump in and start reading. If you don't want to read, then you don't have to. Guðrúnarkviða 1, the first poem of Guðrún, provides a compelling picture of mourning as Guðrún, confronted with the death of her husband Sigurd, is too shocked to weep. Many men and women attempt to comfort her by telling her of their own sorrows, but eventually she is only able to weep when she embraces her dead husband's body. Trigger warning, folks. There it is. Guðrúnarkviða 1. Guðrún sat by her dead husband Sigurd. She did not cry as other women do, but she was nearly bursting with sorrow. Both men and women came to her to comfort her, but it was not easy to do. People say that Guðrún ate some of the dragon Fafnir's heart, and from doing so, she learned how to understand the language of birds. What follows is also composed about Guðrún.
I'll hop in, Mooney.
Okay.
Guðrún was ready for death long ago when she sat in sorrow next to Sigurd's corpse. She did not weep, she did not wring her hands, she did not scream like other women do. Wise noblemen came to her. They tried to offer some comfort to her, but Guðrún could not find the comfort of weeping, and her chest was nearly bursting with sorrow. The wives of these Go ahead.
The wives of these nobles, born to high families, sat next to Guðrún. Decorated in gold, each one of them told of her life's sorrows. Each one told of the worst she had endured. Then Gulflug, Guðrún's aunt, spoke. I lived with less joy than anyone else on earth. I have endured the deaths of 5 husbands, 2 daughters, 3 sisters, and 8 brothers, and only I survived.
But Guðrún could not find the comfort of weeping. She was too miserable over the death of her son, too miserable at the sight of her dead husband.
Then Erbald, Queen of Hunland, spoke. I have a worse pain to tell about. All 7 of my sons, together with my husband, fell in battle south of here.
My father and mother and 4 of my brothers, they all died in a windstorm at sea. The hard waves came over the ship's side.
I had to dress their bodies, I had to dig their graves, I had to handle their funeral myself. I endured all of this with less than half a year, and not a single person said a word to comfort me. And within 6
hours, I was taken prisoner, made a captive, led into slavery, and I was forced to dress and tie the shoes of my lord's wife every morning. She hated me from jealousy. She beat me savagely. I have never known a better lord. I have never known a worse lady.
But Guðrún could not find the comfort of weeping. She was too miserable over the death of her son, too miserable at the sight of her dead husband.
Guðrún.
Go ahead, hon.
Guðrún's sister, said to Gulflug, Foster mother, although you're wise, you don't know how to comfort a young widow. She advised him not to cover the dead man's body.
She lifted the bedclothes from Sigurth's body and lay his head on Guthrun's knees. Look at your beloved. Put your mouth to his. Embrace your husband as you did when he lived.
Gudrun cast a single glance on him. She saw her husband's hair dripping with blood. She saw the fire in his eyes dimmed. She saw her beloved's chest split by a sword wound. Gudrun sank back upon her pillow, her hair shaking loose, her cheeks turning red, and a long rain of tears fell on her cheeks. Then Guðrún, daughter of Gjöki, wept. She wept. The tears poured from her eyes, and the flock of geese which she kept outside screamed loudly in response. Then Guðrún, daughter of Gjöki, spoke. I think the love between the two of you was the greatest of all couples on the earth. You had no joy, whether at home or outside, unless he was by your side.
Guðrún said, My Sigurd was next to my brothers like a garlic stalk towering above the grass. He was like a bright jewel set in a crown, a precious stone to mark a king's forehead. Even kings agreed that I, as Sigurd's wife, was better, higher than all the Valkyries who serve Odin. But I've become as little as a leaf in the forest now that Sigurd has fallen.
I looked in the hall. I looked in our bed for my beloved, but it was the sons of Gjöki, my brothers, who caused my pain. It is they who caused their sister to weep so bitterly.
You, my brothers, will be just as bad at ruling your lands as you were at keeping your oaths. And you, Gunnar, you'll never enjoy the treasure. Those rings will be your death, because you swore false oaths to Sigurd. There was once so much joy in our garden when my beloved Sigurd settled Growning, and the two of you went to woo Brynhild, that wretched creature with her evil luck.
Then Brynhild, Búthli's daughter, spoke. Let me also lose my husband and my children. I am the one who made you weep, made you talk like this. Then Guðrún, daughter of Gjöki, spoke. Silence, you curse on this people. No more of these words. You have always caused misery for our noble family. Everyone wishes you a bad end. You have been the sorrow of 7 kings and the betrayer of all women. Then Brynhild, daughter of Búthli, spoke. Attilia alone causes all this distress. He is my brother, born to my father Búthli.
It began when we two, brother and sister, looked upon Sigurd loaded with Fafnir's gold. I have paid for that vision now, that vision of wealth which thrills me still.
Brynhild, daughter of Búthli, leaned on the wall. She summoned her strength, but fire burned in her eyes, and she snorted venomously when she saw the wounds of Sigurd. Guðrún then departed for the forest in the wilderness, and walked all the way to Denmark, where she stayed with Thora, daughter of Hakon, for 3.5 years. Brynhild did not wish to survive Sigurd, and she ordered 8 of her slaves and 5 of her slave women killed. Then she stabbed herself with Sigurd's sword, as it is told in Guðrúnarkviða in Skama. That word, insert correct words there. I butchered that. That be all, folks. So we went through all 5 stages of grief with this woman. Sometimes when people are going through just not a good time, we try to tell them of times where we didn't have a good time. And we're not trying to one-up them. We're just trying to relate. But in this instance right here, it does kind of sound like they're trying to one-up her. And it's like, she feels bad because she's not crying. And you're over here telling her about all these things that you went through. like it's a good thing that she's not confused. That's what all of it is. Beast, if you're talking, you're muted.
Nope, wasn't talking. But thank you.
Not this time.
Nope.
Although I had very similar experience. I can relate to this story a lot. When my mother passed away, I didn't cry at her funeral. I didn't cry until a few months later. Or, no, it wasn't even a few months later. It was like the next week after she passed away. Whenever I was supposed to be going to her house for visitation, it was that following Saturday after her funeral that I cried, because that was that.
I think it just kind of shows that everybody grieves differently.
Yes, that is also true.
There's no right way, there's no wrong way. You just have to do what you need to do.
Exactly. It's okay to not cry about things that you should cry about. Like, it's okay. Because your grief may not be crying. It may be just the remembrance of it. Or something. I don't know. Words are hard.
No, I mean, who says you have to cry? Like, why do you have to cry at death? Most people believe in some form or another that death ascends you to a higher place.
Exactly. However, I will go on to say, because that in the end, it seems that she unalived herself. That's no good. That's not for you people of YouTube. Don't do that. I don't know who needs to hear it, but somebody does. That's not what this means. No. You have to stay here until you run out of shampoo and conditioner at the same time, until we finish this book, until you climb Mount Everest. Something. I don't know. Figure that part out. Anybody else have any comments, questions, concerns, parallels, and things?
Honestly, sounds like tonight's going to be a quick and easy book club. The story itself isn't too terribly long, and it goes over a lot of what we've already been over in previous chapters.
It does.
It's kind of a recap and expanding of the stories that we've been reading so far.
It does.
Also, I do recommend those to get another idea of this is to read the Pulsing Saga, which is the same story, but in a saga format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is also a very good, it's a very good representation of the stages of grief. Or not even all of them, because it ends with just anger. It ends with the third one of anger, but you know. Well,
it almost seems. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was gonna say it almost seems like she went through the stages of grief, not in the right order.
Yeah. Her. And even then, she only went through, 3 of them? She went through 3.5 of them because she unalived herself in the middle of the 4th one. So, you know. Which ultimately just kind of fast forwards you to the 5th one in one way. Again, people of YouTube, don't do that. You know who you are. That's not the excuse. That's not the reason. No. Mooney said so. No.
Everybody went quiet.
They did. Because I think we're all waiting on someone else to say something. Oh, trigger warning for the next one, because the last sentence of this one, it says, then she stabbed herself with Sigurd's sword, as is told in Sigurdkviða and Skama, which is our next story on page 273 for next time in the paperback version, all of that stuff. So, pre-trigger warning, there'll probably be one for next week too, because memory might work. I don't know.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I was sitting here giving a whole diatribe, and it was apparently not going through.
We had the same problem last time.
What I was going to say, though, is that in relation to the comment that she's going through the stages of grief in the wrong order, grief is not necessarily experienced in any particular order, and this does an excellent job of showing it. And occasionally, you can revisit certain stages over and over again. Like from personal experience, I bounce between just absolute sorrow and rage. So this is one of those poems that's really kind of hits me in the chest, and I did not know that we were on this poem tonight because I'm bad at paying attention to things. But I'm kind of glad we were, because it's nice to see, it's nice to feel like someone else somewhere has felt, the kind of rage that I get rolling off of her in this poem.
Yeah, she has so much rage and so much everything, and it's all valid. And I know, and once again, I feel the need to once again reiterate to the people of YouTube and other people that might need it, that are here, that are muted, or just listening, whatever it may be, that I know some of us, we get into a spot and spiritually or mentally or whatever, and we don't know what to do with our life, and we look to our religious books or books and stuff that we like, this one that we do things with, looking for guidance of, okay, what do I do? This is not what you do. This is an example of what not to, the ending of this, of what she does, that's an example of what not to do. Don't do that. That's not a good way to deal.
Unfortunately, in our belief, a lot of times you have to come back if you do. It doesn't end it.
And do what?
So a lot of the belief is there's a belief in reincarnation from some people in our tradition. And I believe that if you get stuck in that pain, even if you do kill yourself or do something like that, you still have to resolve that pain. And that's the way of doing it. Resolving that pain. Way of resolving that pain is to go through the steps. I lost my son in 2015, and I can understand a lot of this part. This one. This was a good poem for me today.
That's good. I'm glad you could relate into a fact of understanding, if that makes sense. I am not glad that your son passed away. I am glad that you were able to take things away from it. in a good way. But anyway, anybody else have any comments, questions, concerns? My phone has 5%. So if I black out, that's why.
One thing for sure is I have enjoyed coming to these. This has been enjoyable for me. Thank you for hosting this.
That's what I'm here for. It's what they don't pay me for.
We're all very glad to have your insight, Kelly.
Same. I'm glad to have your insights and stuff. They're always very insightful. They do their job.
It's just I'm old.
I wasn't gonna put it like that, man. I was gonna try to frame it in the way that didn't say that.
So we had a moot here in Utah, and someone come up and introduced me to somebody, and it's like, Kelly, he's been doing Oxytrue longer than you've been alive. It's like, right.
Isn't it great when they start stuff out like that?
So
Yeah,
when I took the oath of the Gothar when I was in my late 20s, and we were having a bloat, and someone goes, or during the Sambal part of our bloat, and someone goes, "Hell, the Graybeards, Jerry, Papa Bear, and Kelly." It's like,
is that
I'm
how
only
it's
20.
called? I'm sorry, I've been pronouncing bloat wrong. I've been pronouncing it blot. I just learned that I've been pronouncing it wrong for 4 years.
Well, I'm a Utard, so it's just the way we say it here. It is a Norse word, so. And
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just squirrel.
No, bloat is the correct pronunciation as far as I'm aware. Like
That is
boat.
correct. Bloat, like what the dead body does in the sun after 3 days.
yeah.
I wasn't going to put it in those terms, but yes.
Yes, I've used that before too.
Yep.
I've been pronouncing it wrong for 4 years.
If you don't want to go for that morbid, we could definitely go with the way the lady feels after the 7th month of gestation.
Yep. So
Sick and tired of not seeing your feet.
You know what, Heather? You may have pronounced float incorrectly, but you did a hell of a job pronouncing Sigurðarkviða, or whatever that word was that I cannot say. So
There's a reason I only read the ones that I read. Because my pronunciation is terrible.
Look, it comes with practice. I've been telling all of the kids that I teach, sound it out. Just sound, you know what the letter says, sound it out. And I'm having to go through that process myself with these big words. It's like, sound it out, Heather. You can get it. It's fine. Oh.
I have a hard enough time speaking the words that I say daily, let alone some of these words in here, so.
we've the way we do bloat, we do use the Old Norse to do the Hammer Halloween, Helga Betheta Okindra Elelska, and there's been an ongoing debate with all the Gothi here in Utah over the right way to say it. It's been a fun debate, so it works for me.
I guess that's what counts in the long run, right?
It is a very personal tradition, religion, and unfortunately we have a lot of gaps, so you've got to fill in those gaps with what works for you.
Exactly.
My wife does Italian witchcraft through Raven Grimassi style tradition, and I picked up some stuff from her and vice versa. So
I very nearly bought one of Raven Grimasi's books for my boss the other day because he's Italian and he knows nothing about witchcraft, but he somehow managed to hire at least 3 witches.
Gut instinct.
we have 3 heathens that work with me.
That's awesome. I'm the only heathen there, but I'm not the only witch, which is an interesting thing.
And what's fun is the one I didn't know her, but I know her brother really. Her brother's in one of our sister kindreds, and she's like, you know my brother. It's like, I do. You're on his Facebook, and it's like, yeah, we kind of do sort of the same religion, and he's like, oh, okay, you're a heathen too, yay! It was funny. We've got a bunch of them, and then we have one guy that does Santeria, so that's been fun.
Yeah, that's what
I'm going to go ahead and stop Craig